AFR On Demand is brought to you by Breck Golf. Try Beaver Creek today, just 20 minutes from downtown Baton Rouge in the Zachary area. They've got a PGA Tour driving range, a short game practice area, 30 to 40-yard practice shots. It's a great place to chip and putt and practice if you don't have time for a full round. Book your tee time today, golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org.
Matt Moscona.
I'm very important.
After further review.
Say it one more time.
After further review with Matt Moscona.
And here we go.
Live from the Raising Cane studio.
Let's ride!
Hour 2, off we go. Welcome aboard. Glad you're with us. It's AFR, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. I'm Matt.
This is Shaq O'Neal, and I hate Matt.
Paul O'Neal.
They're chanting Paul O'Neal's name.
You so. And Mr. Toby Tomplay. All right. We're here. Glad you are as well. Get out there and make it a good one. Saints were back on the practice field today for minicamp. Mike Triplett will be here next hour. Tell us what he saw. Also react to the big news down in New Orleans, which is where we open the show today. Cam Jordan, it is official, returning to the Saints. We'll get the terms of the contract in due time, but very likely a one-year prove-it deal. We'll see how it all plays out. We reacted to that to open the show, so if you missed it, you can catch that on demand. AFR On Demand, presented by Breck Golf. Well, after a couple of weeks of wrangling and a very bizarre, never-ending news cycle around the Brendan Sorsby saga, the quarterback will leave Texas Tech without ever playing a game for the Red Raiders. Sorsby will, in fact, enter the NFL Supplemental Draft, ending his time at Texas Tech before he plays a game. Now, from a very selfish LSU perspective, dodged a bullet. LSU hosted Sorsby. You might remember somebody, very likely Sorsby's agent, leaked the LSU offer to Ross Dellinger. And Dellinger published it. So we know that LSU had a $5 million offer on the table for Brendan Sorsby. That you can't fake that interest. LSU made an offer to him. So disaster averted there, because if you had put all your eggs in the Sorsby basket and now he's not eligible and you're going into the season with Husan Longstreet, Landon Clark, and T. Martin's son, my goodness, all of the expectation around the season gets completely muted. So that's first and foremost, obviously. I think on one hand, it's very sad. And that I don't mean to use that term flippantly, but it is sad that it took all of the public pressure just coming down upon Texas Tech and Sorsby to force this decision, because the adults in the room couldn't acknowledge the right thing to do, or just ignored the right thing to do, and instead chose to serve their own sordid self-interests. And that's Joey McGuire trying to win football games, and that's Cody Campbell protecting his, 8-figure investment in this football roster. That's their athletic director and their president trying to protect their jobs and build the program and all that sort of stuff. And that's kind of disgusting, because nothing unifies sports fans. Nothing. Sports fans live divided. It's what makes sports great. We care that much, and as a result, remain so divided against the teams that are threats to the team we cheer for. You never have sports fans unified. And sports fans, even Twitter, were unified in this, because everyone knows, bro, you can't bet on the under on your own team. So it's very sad that the adults in the room, Joey Maguire, all of the powers that be at Texas Tech, try to piss on our head, tell us it's raining. I mean, some elite level attempted gaslighting there, and none of us bought it. So Brendan Sorsby now will go off to the NFL, and there's two components of this. It's, well, what NFL team is actually going to take a shot, and what does it mean for Texas Tech? Mike Tannenbaum was on Get Up, and of course, Mike Tannenbaum was an NFL GM with the New York Jets. So he's a good person to ask, like, are teams actually going to be interested in Sorsby?
Yeah, agree. Here's the fun part. There could be some non-obvious ones. So you have Cleveland, the Jets, Arizona, Miami. But how about teams like Minnesota, maybe Atlanta? What about Pittsburgh? What an unexpected opportunity. If you could get past, the transgressions, you may have a young, talented quarterback for the next decade. So, look, Pittsburgh drafts Drew Aller, but, Aaron Rodgers is close to the end. So some team may be proactive, said this is an unexpected opportunity.
Again, I think it's important to remember with respect to the supplemental draft, the way that works is if a team chooses to give up a draft pick, you're effectively forfeiting that corresponding pick in next year's draft. So, for example, if in the supplemental draft, they mentioned Pittsburgh. Pittsburgh wants to give up a third-round pick for Sorsby. That would, in effect, be next April's third-round pick that they would not then have in April. They're using it now on Sorsby. You might remember Terrell Pryor when he left Ohio State. You may remember that very notable supplemental draft instance where wasn't it Pittsburgh or was it the Raiders with Terrell Pryor back in 2011 used a supplemental draft pick on Terrell Pryor. So there's probably going to be a team that takes a shot. Listen, Jeff Darlington, NFL analyst, was on Get Up today as well, reacting to this and effectively said as much.
I think it's also important. You don't have to give up a lot. You could say, hey, we'll throw a 6th round in there and see what happens. Right. Every team gets to just decide what their bid is, and then the NFL will say, this team bid the most, they get him. I mean, you're going to have teams just saying, we'll throw a flyer in there.
It's also important to remember Hunter Deckers, who's with the Saints. I mean, he lost his college eligibility and had to go play in a lower classification, not affiliated with the NCAA, and ultimately got a chance. I mean, the Saints gave him a chance. So someone is going to give Brendan Sorsby a chance. Now, how good is Sorsby? How does he project to the next level? That kind of remains to be seen. He was clearly one of the more sought-after players in the portal. He threw for 27 touchdowns, just 5 interceptions a season ago at Cincinnati. It's also fair to mention Cincinnati lost out in the month of November last year. I don't know that you put that entirely on Sorsby's shoulders, but, I mean, he did have a touchdown and a pick in a loss to Utah, a touchdown and 2 picks in the loss to Arizona. He had 2 touchdowns and a pick in the loss to BYU, and then in the finale against TCU, he did throw for 3 touchdowns and no interceptions. So I don't know that you necessarily put that on, but they lost 45-23. So how much is he absolved from that losing streak? I don't know. NFL teams can make that decision. But Sorsby will have an opportunity to go play at the next level. I mean, there's also, of course, the component of this about his eligibility in the NFL, and this is something that, of course, that Kayshon Boutte faced, where, remember, Boutte had the situation where he was involved in a situation where he was gambling during his time at LSU and was not suspended by the NFL. He was drafted by the Patriots, and when the announcement, the allegations, were levied, and Kayshon was arrested for underage gambling. I mean, he had 8,900 gambling wagers while he was in college. 6 of them involved LSU football, and he was underage when he made those bets. So we're Brendan Sorsby here. So it'll be interesting to see, but it's Boutte. Kayshon was charged with a crime. Louisiana, the state, ended up dropping the charges in July of 2024, and then the NFL chose not to punish Kayshon Boutte. So I guess the point is there is precedent there to say that Sorsby may not face punishment from the NFL. Now, my guess is most people here probably care far less about whatever happens with Sorsby in the NFL, unless he ends up at the Saints or someplace like that would directly impact the team that you care, or a rival for a team you care about. And probably more so care about how this impacts college football, because Brendan Sorsby and Texas Tech were a heavy favorite to win the Big 12. And of course, if you win the Big 12, then you're going to be in the college football playoff, just like Sorsby and Texas Tech were, well, not Sorsby, Texas Tech was this past year. And they played Miami and didn't score. But now you look at no Sorsby. What does that mean for the Big 12 odds? Well, Bovada updated odds today. We have this up at LouisianaSports.net for free if you want to check it out. But it's so interesting because this really speaks to what Ari Temkin said on our show yesterday from Big 12 Radio. As I asked Ari Temkin, who benefits the most from Sorsby? And at the time, we didn't know if Sorsby was going to be eligible or not, if he was going to play or not. But I said, who benefits the most if Sorsby doesn't play? And his answer was Texas Tech, oddly enough. And his rationale was, this is a massive distraction. If Sorsby's not there, it means Texas Tech gets to move forward, clearing the deck, knowing who they're going forward with. And I'll be darned, the updated odds here for the Big 12 still have Texas Tech as not only a favorite, but a massive favorite to win the Big 12. Texas Tech at -105. BYU is next at +650. If you don't bet, what that means is if you pick Texas Tech to win the Big 12, you'd have to bet $105 to win 100. If you pick BYU, who's second, if you bet 100, you'd win 650. So Texas Tech, even without Sorsby, is a massive favorite still to win the Big 12. Now, maybe the better question is, let's look at the national championship odds and see how those might be altered, because maybe Texas Tech's roster, even with a different quarterback, is still plenty good enough to win the Big 12. What about how they might or might not be able to compete in the college football playoff? That's a big-time question, and we'll continue to keep an eye on that as it evolves. But Brendan Sorsby, out. He'll enter the supplemental draft and will not play at Texas Tech this season. All right, it's after further review. A little frog in my throat. Sip of Evermore. Excuse me. Mentioned it yesterday. Shout out to Dallas Love Field, the airport there in Dallas. Walking to our gate on Sunday, we went from Vegas to Dallas to New Orleans. And as I'm walking through the terminal there toward our gate, I noticed one of the little, they had little kiosk setups where you can get your chips and your candy or Coke or water, whatever. They had Evermore. You know what? MSY, I see no Evermore in your airport. BTR, didn't see no Evermore in your airport. We need to fix that problem pronto. What are we doing here? Got a great Louisiana product. Natural artesian water, spring water straight from the source. Let's get that done. Let's expose the world who fly through our great cities to the wonderment of Evermore. EVAMOR. You can buy yours online at evermore.com, evermore.com, or get it at great local retailers. If you're not sure where to find it, you can go to the little hamburger menu there at the top of the website. Find a store, type in your zip code, and just like that, boom, you'll see exactly where you can find Evermore. EVAMOR, evermore.com, evermore.com. You can buy it online as well if you just hit the Buy Now tab at evermore.com. EVAMOR, evermore.com. All right, it's after further review. Glad you're hanging out with us here. Mike Triplett in 1 hour from right now. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Mike will be with us. Tell us what he saw at Saints minicamp. Let's hear from Cam Jordan, who met with reporters earlier today, announcing his return to New Orleans for a 16th season with the Saints. We'll get to it next here. Stick around. It's AFR.
AFR.
If you're looking to hire, Glow Resources can help. Hard to believe, y'all. My goodness. We're already into Q3. I mean, y'all, 2026 is halfway over. That's insane. If you want to finish the year strong, coming out of vacation, coming out of summer months, you want to get into the fall and make sure you are queued up, teed up, and ready to have the most productive, strongest finish to the year, Glow Resources can help. You need the right people. You need the right people and the right seats on the bus. And there's nobody better at helping you find the right people for the right job, skilled blue-collar labor or any office job. It's Glow Resources. Check them out online at GLO, glowresources.com, glowresources.com. Complete employer solutions, permanent employer solutions, GLO, glowresources.com. Man, I love telling you every day about River Parish Contractors. I'm bullish telling you about River Parish Contractors because, man, they're a great industrial contractor, but they're also great people. And they are looking for people to join their team over at River Parish Contractors. If you're interested, if you're looking for work, if you're just looking for a better opportunity to support your family, to work at a better place, man, you got to get in touch with Big Jake over at River Parish Contractors. Right now, they're looking for pipe tackers, pipe fitters, 7-10 schedule. Obviously, you want to go see the qualifications. They got them. They're up at their Facebook page, their social media. You go to the website, rpcontractors.com, rpcontractors.com. But overtime is available, paid time off, great benefits, and they're local, so you're home every night. River Parish Contractors.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
Did you seriously consider it, like any other offer?
No. I would not. Why would you? No, I would never.
Cam Jordan meeting with reporters on the day that it's announced that he's coming back to New Orleans for his 16th season. We opened the show today with a full reaction to Cam returning. If you want to catch that, it's on demand, AFR on demand, presented by Breck Golf. Book your tee time at golf.breck.org, golf.breck.org. YouTube podcast, you can go catch that. But just, to very quickly summarize, I think Cam Jordan's decision to return is very smart by both Cam and the Saints. Cam, with the humility to return to a place that didn't give him the offer he wants, despite the fact that he has given them so much over a decade and a half, but acknowledging this is his opportunity to continue playing and to play at a place that means a lot to him. And for the Saints, they deserve a ton of credit for being fiscally responsible and sticking to their number, which oddly they always do in free agency. And all of the cap hell and fiscal irresponsibility came in the way they would restructure contracts. But a lot of that has to do with the fact that, well, a lot of times you give bad contracts initially and then need to restructure. In any event, Cam Jordan is returning. This is official. Cam meeting with reporters on Tuesday and talked about what the deciding factor was for him to return to New Orleans.
The dad, like I said about 2 weeks ago, he's like, "Hey, man, you're affecting our lives here." I was like, "Oh, no, I did not know that. I could have sworn us moving to Arizona, it would have been the same everyday routine." But no, that'd be the final part. When you look at these, 4 beautiful kids growing up, their whole lives have been here, so they don't know how not to carry on. And when you had that conversation, I was like, all right, let me just humble myself here and let's get this done, which is awesome because I've got so much intended for this city with this upcoming year.
I love that he used the word. He said, "Let me humble myself." And it was the first thing I thought. Literally, the note that I wrote down was, good for Cam for accepting reality and having humility to return. And he said he used the word. It'd be so easy for Cam Jordan to say, "Man, 15 years going to the Hall of Fame, and I'm going to get a prove it deal." It'd have been so easy for him to walk away, to say no thanks. But more to do, which was great to see. He was also asked point blank if this is going to be his last season in the NFL.
I don't ever want to do this again. This whole offseason, I just told Kai, I was like, I don't like this. This, yeah. So we're going to take it. We're going to take everything the way we want to. Year 16, how many more years do you want me to play? Like, what do you want from me? I definitely am going to take to this like every game is my last to ever play. And I'm going to be, like I said, overly appreciative of all my teammates. I'm overly blessed and excited to be back with the team. I can't wait for summer camp. We
have seen so many instances in the NFL of guys late in their career taking an opportunity to ring chase. And I that has a negative connotation, and I do not mean it that way. It's basically what Ndamukong Suh did at the end of his career, and it worked. Andrew Whitworth. Andrew Whitworth was a all-decade team member on a bunch of bad teams in Cincinnati. And he went to the Rams and won a Super Bowl. J.J. Watt tried to do it. Left Houston, went to Arizona to give it a go. Didn't work. That's okay. I mean, it happens. Look, it happens in every sport. Karl Malone did it. Gary Payton. They went to try to build that super team in L.A. with the Lakers and lost in the finals to the Pistons in 2004. It happens in every... So it would have been totally understandable if Cam Jordan would have gone to the Eagles or the Chiefs or the Bills or the 49ers or a team that is a legitimate, the Seahawks, that you might consider a legitimate contender. And he was asked, why? Well, why not go join a contender and try to chase a ring in your final season?
One, because they're all cold. Ew. And two, I mean, when you look at our roster, you see the growth, you see the development, you see Tyler Shuck, you look at CO, you see the explosiveness of a Jordan Tyson, you see how Devon Valet was playing last year, you see Jawan Taylor, we bring in some WWE kids. I mean, I just think there's so much talent on the roster itself.
He didn't really answer the question per se. And I would love to know what opportunities might have been there for Cam in other places. But one of the things I remember before the 2024 season, right when the Super Bowl was in New Orleans, and, Cam was asked a similar question. And his response, I'm paraphrasing, was something to the effect of, why not us? Let's play Super Bowl in our building. And I don't think there was a soul that believed that was a realistic possibility. With Derek Carr as the quarterback and Dennis Allen as the coach and all this stuff. And there's part of me that respects so much an athlete's mentality that believes they're going to win every time they play. Because I think you kind of have to have that to be great. You're not going to win every time you play, as we know, but you got to have that belief that you're going to. That's how you end up as the basketball player that wants the ball in his hands for the final shot every single time, knowing you're not going to make every one, but you want it in your hand every time. That's how you're the slugger who wants to be at the plate in the bottom of the ninth with 2 out, down 1 with runners on second and third, and you need a knock to win this game. And you believe you're going to get it, even though you're going to fail 70% of the time. So part of me respects the fact that throughout his career, Cam Jordan has been that guy. The guy who has consistently said, why not us? And he's still saying it there. But at this point in his life, going into his age 37 season and understanding what the Saints have been and are right now, they are a building team. They are not a contending team. He's been on a contending team. He played with a Hall of Fame quarterback, and he got to an NFC Championship game, and they got Nola no-called. This is not a contending team today. 2-3 years, maybe. Really good young core. If they keep developing, they could be. This is what a rebuild looks like, but he's smack dab in the middle of it. It was interesting because on the day that Cam announced his return, the Saints also had minicamp practice, and Kellen Moore met with reporters before practice, so before Cam's announcement. And Kellen was asked about the other defensive ends that they brought in. Remember, the Saints added Tyree Wilson and Anfernee Jennings this offseason when it looked like Cam wasn't coming back. And Kellen Moore, that's a 7, had this to say about those 2 edge rushers coming in.
I think Jennings, Tyree, to onboard those guys who've played a lot of football in this league that are still relatively young, that will be able to contribute in a really positive way for us. And so, I think those guys have really big time experience. And, I think that depth of that group obviously has been increased. And I think that's going to be to our advantage, the versatility that group has to be able to rotate those guys, but also play multiple guys and really put a stress on the offense.
I'm going to be so interested to see what the numbers are that they keep in that room. Because look, Chase Young, Carl Granderson, Cam Jordan, Anfernee Jennings, Tyree Wilson, that's 5. Are you keeping all 5 of those guys on your active roster? I don't know. It'd be fascinating to see how that room shakes out in training camp. Moore had a little bit more about Tyree Wilson, who, remember, is a former top 10 overall pick, now trying to find that resurgence in his second act in his career.
I thought he had an awesome offseason. He's been a sponge as far as just absorbing all the information. I mean, he's getting to be coached by Jay Rodgers, one of the best in the league, and learn all the techniques and all the fundamentals there. And then I think what's cool is just to see him hopping in on every possible opportunity on special teams. Like, hey, where can I learn something? Where can I find a potential role as we go? That's awesome because a lot of times these guys, they have these opportunities and maybe it goes a certain way or not a certain way. And, hey, I'm just going to keep finding opportunities. And, I think that special teams embrace is an important part of this.
Love that, man. Former top 10 pick, even embracing special teams on a way that he's going to be able to impact this team. It was an interesting day there in New Orleans, sort of marrying the old and the new. And one farewell, as Kellen Moore was asked today about the offense without Taysom, effectively confirmed what we all know.
Is there still a possibility to get something done with Taysom, or at this point is that door closed?
We haven't necessarily had any conversations up to this point, but you never know.
If you haven't even had a conversation at this point, you kind of know. And I think we all knew when Taysom was emotional leaving the field for the final time, and we all know what it is. So in some ways, the end of an era. In other ways, a renewal or continuation of an era. And in many ways, brand new. So interesting time over there on Airline Drive. All right, it's after further review. Tuesday shows are powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana. Hey, I want to remind you about Rouse's. Father's Day is this weekend. And if you love hand-cut steaks at Rouse's, they're in-store butchers. Hand-cut meats to order. They fresh grind their beef daily, so if you want patties for burgers this weekend. They also make signature sausages and their Cajun specialties right in store. So this weekend, Father's Day, like I know a lot of times, Dad, you don't want to cook on Father's Day, but sometimes you don't trust anybody else on the grill. And if you just want to go get a big tomahawk ribeye or some burgers to throw on the pit, man, get by Rouse's and go check out their in-store butchers over there at any of the Rouse's locations. They got 76 of them, from Lake Charles to Orange Beach and points in between. Rouses.com, Rouses.com. Rouses, this feels like home. All right, y'all, it is after further review, halfway home here on this Tuesday edition of AFR. It's really interesting. Muse will do Tigers and the Pros in about 15 minutes, and I do want to circle back at the top of hour 3, so about 30 minutes from right now, straight at 5 o'clock Central. I want to give you some thoughts on LSU's newest running back commit, Trey Segura. But let me break. When we come back, it's really premature to start talking about the 2027 draft. But it's interesting because ESPN has their positional rankings for the 27 draft, which is something they'll update throughout the year. But I think this does speak very loudly about this LSU football roster for 26 and how they've built it. I'll explain what I mean. Stay here. It's AFR.
AFR.
Get Gordon and get it done. Gordon McKernan Injury Attorneys. If you've been injured in an accident, it's not your fault. You know what to do. Get Gordon. Get it done. Do what injured people in our state have done for 3 decades. Gordon McKernan and his team are just awesome, man. And you can go to the website and see actual client testimonials, successes that Gordon and his team of attorneys have had representing people in Louisiana, recovering more than $3 billion in damages over the time that they've been in business. And yours could be next. And it's so cool to always see these real case testimonials There's one attorney, Justin Glendon Hammond, recovered $982,000 as part of a big truck wreck. Auto accidents, workers' compensation, so many different types of cases that Gordon and his team can handle. You want the best? Don't go it alone. You know what to do. Go to getgordon.com, getgordon.com. Get Gordon and get it done.
After further review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
We ride back and forth till we run out of light. Take it to the barn, put it up for the night. Climb up in the loft, sit and talk with the radio.
Travis Tritt. So good.
Travis Tritt's great. This is not him though.
Clint Black.
Another good one. Just not this one.
Yep. Oh, the man in black, Johnny Cash. That's who that is.
I mean, legend.
So good.
No, not him.
Love that Jason Aldean.
No, it's not him. No. He had a different song about a tractor, actually.
I didn't know that.
He did.
Who's the guy that my niece likes so much? Shout out Reese Anderman. The guy who played in Tiger Stadium. That a lot of people think's an a-hole.
Oh, Zach Bryan.
Him. Zach Bryan.
No.
No?
Completely different sound. Yeah.
Oh. The one that's married to Gwen Stefani.
Luke
Bryan.
Blake Shelton.
Oh, well, who's Luke Bryan?
Luke Bryan's another. Well, if we're going to call
he's
him
the
a
one who
country.
sings the song.
No.
Oh.
No. He's a judge on American Idol.
Luke Bryan?
Luke Bryan.
I thought that was Blake Shelton.
No. Blake Shelton's on one of those different talent shows.
He was on The Voice, and that's how he met Gwen Stefani.
The Voice. There it is. Look at this.
Wait.
You put it together. That did happen, I think.
Oh, wait. The guy in The Voice with Carrie Underwood and Lionel Richie is the country guy?
That's American Idol.
Yeah.
And Luke Bryan's on there.
That's him.
Weird.
Well, shout out to all the farmers that are heading to the Farm Bureau Conference in New Orleans. Sunshine will be down there. They can't wait to see everybody down there in NOLA this week. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Go get you a tractor or a zero-turn mower, a gator. Look, tailgating season's right around the bend. Walk into any of the Sunshine stores. They got your portable generators. You need your portable generator for your tailgate, your fans, all that stuff. Sunshine, they got you. Bunky and below. Sunequip.com, sunequip.com. Okay. I am not going to, on June the 16th, start breaking down the 2027 NFL Draft. I have no desire to do that. I think oftentimes when people put out way too early mock drafts and stuff, they end up looking foolish because, you end up like with Brady Quinn as the number 2 pick in the draft or something like that. Whatever the case may be. What is interesting is I do like to get scouts' perspective on players. This is in any sport. What is scouts who are looking at prospects and projectability to the next level, which doesn't always indicate success at the college level, but what do scouts think about prospects? And so Jordan Reed and Matt Miller, 2 ESPN draft analysts, have put out their top 5 at every position for the 2027 draft. So naturally, I'm just going to scroll through and look for the LSU guys. So there's a few things that just really jump off the page. They start with the offense. No Sam Levitt. Coming off a tough injury. I kind of get it a little bit. That's one that could change. Running back, no running backs. I don't know which running back would be. Harlan Berry's not draft eligible. Certainly don't think Caden Durham going into his junior season would be a top 5 running back in this year's draft. Receivers, LSU added 9 of them via the portal, but no receivers among the top 5, which actually kind of is indicative of what we know, right? Lane Kiffin said it point blank that, when he talked about the cap for each position group and how they looked at receiver and they said, they feel like they're better go in numbers and hope that 4 to 6 of them emerge instead of putting all your cap into one guy. So instead of going after Coleman from Auburn, let him go to Texas and let them spend a bunch of money. LSU will go get 9 guys and hope 4 to 6 of them emerge and you have great depth. Okay, different approach. We don't think those are projectable guys. Fine. Tight end, naturally, Trey'Dez Green. Both have Trey'Dez as the number 2 tight end behind Jamari Johnson from Oregon. That was to be expected. Offensive tackle, both have Jordan Seaton as the number 2 offensive tackle behind Trevor Gooseby from Texas. I think that's expected as well. No offensive guards, not a surprise. A little surprised not seeing Braylon Moore among the top centers. However, Jordan Reed did list Braylon Moore as the player outside of the top 5 to watch, noting he spent 3 years at Virginia Tech. He was the most consistent blocker at LSU a season ago, 36 career starts. Could be a day 3 guy from NFL evaluators. I like that. So on offense, Trey'Dez Green, Jordan Seaton, and a little bit of an asterisk next to Braylon Moore. That's it. So basically 2.5 guys, basically. Defense, edge rushers. Nope. A little surprised not to see Prince Williman Mielen on that list. Defensive tackle? Nope. Linebacker. I want to remind you that Whit Weeks will be a senior in this draft. And LSU also now has the guy who led the SEC in tackles a year ago, TJ Daugherty, in that linebacker core. Neither one on this list. Cornerback? Nope. Now, DJ Pickett next year will be all over this, but PJ Woodland right now, nope. Safety, they both have Ty Benefield on the list. Matt Miller has Ty Benefield, the number 3 safety. Jordan Reed has Benefield, the number 5 safety. So, if you're scoring at home, this $40+ million roster that LSU has put together, when you look at draft analysts and what they think about it, there's basically consensus that Trey'Dez Green and Jordan Seaton are really good. Braylon Moore could be a day 3 pick. And Ty Benefield on defense is special and I think has a potential to have a monster year and be a high draft pick. Other than that, so one of 2 things is true. Either we are massively overhyping this LSU team, or they're going to prove a lot of people wrong this fall. Now, I don't know what the truth is and where reality will be. But one thing I'll tell you that strictly through an LSU lens does make me very encouraged is when you're looking at lists like this, you're not keeping Jordan Seaton or Trey'Dez Green for another year. Like, they're gone. And should be, by the way. And then you have guys like Braylon Moore and Whit Weeks who will be out of eligibility. But all the other position groups, when you don't see them projected high in the NFL draft, there's a greater argument to be made to returning to school, which is what you're seeing now, which I think is actually making the college game better because you have guys trying to stay because they're making more in college. So you're seeing more guys playing their 4th, 5th, sometimes 6 years in college because they can make more money. And so you're having guys stay as opposed to dudes that just, remember back in the day when you'd have all the hats lined up and guys sitting at the table and say, for the next 3 to 4 years, like guys basically in high school declaring they're going to be leaving early for the NFL without having taken a snap in college. Well, like now, for the next 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 years, if I can get it and the judge grants me an injunction, but like, it makes sense though. Thank you. But I think all of that continues to underscore how Kiffin and Glasscock are building this roster. They're not looking to overspend on guys that are going to bounce, unless if you have a Jordan Seaton. Plug and play, mercenary, 1 year, elite left tackle, massive position of need, premium position. Okay, I'll spend there. Everywhere else, find dudes that are really good players that fit what you want to do that are going to hang around through their 3rd, 4th, 5th year in college. and get better as a result of it. I think this is another piece of evidence sort of pointing to that direction and how they're building this roster. I think this recruiting class really kind of illustrates that as well. All right, it's After Further Review. We're brought by South Point Volkswagen, southpointvw.com. New and certified pre-owned in Baton Rouge and online, southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. Thursday, I was over at South Point. Got my new whip. Excited about it. Does it lose cool factor when I say got my new whip?
100%, yes.
What about if I say got my nay-nay?
That makes it even worse.
Got my whip and my nay-nay?
Makes it even worse.
Watch me whip. Now watch me nay-nay.
That's the song.
Muse, you weren't even alive when that song came out.
Yeah, I was.
I was whipping and nay-naying over at Fred's back in the day. You were still in diapers. Your mom needed to wipe your behind when the whip and the nay-nay was popping off.
No,
that is true.
That's not true.
That is a stone cold fact.
No, it's not.
Also a stone cold fact, South Point Volkswagen is awesome. Got my Volkswagen Cross Sport. Second one, black Volkswagen Cross Sport. I went from the Atlas to the Atlas Cross Sport to another Atlas Cross Sport. The Atlas is the 3-row, 7-seater family SUV. Had that. Realized I didn't need the third row. So I got the Cross Sport, which takes out the third row, a little shorter, same great features, technology, stylish, awesome. Find your new ride over at South Point Volkswagen. Shop online, work out financing, all that stuff. southpointvw.com, southpointvw.com. South Point Volkswagen, what's your direction? All right, it's After Further Review. We're going to knock out a quick break. We'll come back and muse through Tigers and the Pros to wrap up hour number 2 next.
AFR.
We're brought to you by the Watermark in the Renaissance. Watermark downtown, Renaissance Southtown. A Renaissance Baton Rouge right there on Bluebonnet, as they're fond of saying, Southtown. Easy access to I-10, which means if you're in town for an event, maybe a football game coming up this fall, Renaissance Baton Rouge, awesome place to stay because easy access to I-10, or so you can get anywhere in town quickly. Right across from the mall in Perkins Row, so great dining options or shopping. Actually, just down the street from Supper Club as well, just saying. And, look, it's where LSU stays the night before home football games. Easy access to I-10 so you can get to Tiger Stadium or whatever you might be heading toward. A great place to hold an event. Maybe you have a business meeting in conjunction with a game or an event in town. You could rent out the boardrooms for 12 people, the ballroom up to 500 people. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge. Right there on Bluebonnet. Check them out. It's Renaissance Baton Rouge.
After Further Review, powered by Sunshine, your hometown John Deere dealer in Louisiana.
All right, wrapping up hour number 2. LSU got a running back commit earlier today. Trey Segura picked the Tigers. He's out of South Carolina. Shay was with us in hour 1, kind of gave us a little bit of a rundown. I'll give you some thoughts on that, the running back room as a whole, in 12 minutes from right now. But right now, Muso has Tigers in the Pros.
Tigers in the Pros. They still bleed purple and gold. They're just really rich now.
Awesome moment late in the game between the Twins and the Rangers on Monday night. Josh Smith emerged from the Rangers dugout for his first plate appearance and at bat since May 3rd. It has been a long 6 weeks for the former Tiger. A glute injury initially sent him to the injured list, and then Smith was hospitalized with a bout of viral meningitis. Back in the lineup tonight. So that's the good thing. He returned, went 0 for 1, but back in the lineup tonight. He'll get his first start since early May as well. Hit 7th and play second base. Clap it up. Yeah.
Let's go. Let's go, babe.
Absolutely.
Let's go, babe. Come on, Smitty. We got you, babe.
Dylan Cruz. No.
That'd have been good.
Man. Goodness gracious. 1 for 4 last night.
We're doing pretty good without it.
I mean, yeah, I think it's going okay. 1 for 4 last night.
How many consecutive state championships for the Bears now? Is that 3? And a national championship?
I'm going to be honest. I don't know.
It's 3.
Okay. It's 3
straight and a natty.
1 for 4 last night for Cruz.
Lock it up.
He went big fly to left field. His 4th home run of the season. A 3-run shot for Cruz, carrying a 5-game hitting streak into tonight's matchup with the Royals. And then a couple former Tigers, Rockies and Cubs. Bregman, another 2 for 4 night, back-to-back times. Both of those singles did draw a walk as well. No. No. Not Catholic High for Brendan. And then Jaden Hill for the Rockies through 2/3 of an inning. Walked, no. Where was Jaden Hill from? Is he from Texas? I don't remember. Anyway,
doesn't really say here.
Two-thirds. It doesn't really say. 2/3 of an inning to walk, 2 punch outs.
I can't find it.
No hits, no runs. That's Tigers in the Pros.
Presented by Arco Power Systems, ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. I don't know if you noticed, but actually in our parish construction and roofing groove text earlier today, got forwarded. There's a tropical cyclone or something that's threatening the area, whatever. Bottom line is this. It's storm season. Hurricane season starts June 1st. Reality of living here is that storms come. We hope they don't. We hope that they spare us and everyone is safe. The reality is storms happen and power outages happen. So you need to be prepared. The time to start thinking about that is not when there's a storm in the Gulf. At that point, it's too late. This is the time to call Arco Power Systems now to be proactive. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com, Arco.com. Industrial Generac generator power. It's a standby generator for your business, your commercial, industrial facility. Power goes out, what happens to your business? Don't find out. Let Arco Power Systems help. Everything is turnkey. ARCCO, Arco.com, Arco.com. All right, y'all, it is After Further Review. Glad to have you hanging out with us. Remember, you can email us, tweet us, or text the show, 225-396-4400, 396-4400, 396-4400. Oh, it keeps happening. I keep meaning to go back to this. On my text line, when I get the text from people.
What we got?
Patrick, it's up to you. Just trying to give you some time for dinner and all.
Thanks, Patrick.
Appreciate that. It's really kind of you, Patrick.
It's like a steak, Pat.
Yeah, it's really good. They keep coming in all the time. It's so funny. When people just text me random things because they don't realize they're texting my text line. They think they're texting their wife or something. Keep it clean. Hour 3 next.
AFR.
Hey, we're brought to you by Parish Restoration. I just was talking about it being storm season, and obviously, I was at the doctor today, and I could sit in the doctor's office. I could hear the rain just pounding outside. It feels like that's a daily occurrence now. Well, I say it often to you that we live in the mold capital of the world because it's wet and humid, and that is a breeding ground for mold, water, and humidity. So if you have mold or think you might, Parish Restoration can help. It's actually really scary sometimes when they'll go into these buildings or homes, office complexes, and you start to cut back on some of the sheetrock or you pull out some of the insulation, you just see black mold in the wall. And you don't even know it's there. But it could be a health hazard, obviously, and you want to get rid of that. So if you have mold or think you might, Parish Restoration can help. ParishRestoration.com for that free estimate. ParishRestoration.com.